Thank you.
There you go, that's better. You go.
ओम मम उपात्त समस्त दुरितक्षयत्वारा श्री परमेश्वर प्रीत्यर्थम अहम श्री दक्षिणामूर्ति पूजां करिष्ये। ओम गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं कपित्थजम्बूफलभार सारभक्षितम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारणं नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपादपञ्चकम्। ओम सुमुखाय नमः। ओम एकदन्ताय नमः। ओम कपिलाय नमः। ओम गजकर्णकाय नमः। ओम लंबोदराय नमः। ओम विकटाय नमः। ओम विघ्नराजाय नमः। ओम विनायकाय नमः। ओम धूमकेतवे नमः। ओम गणाध्यक्षाय नमः। ओम फालचंद्राय नमः। ओम गजाननाय नमः। ओम वक्रतुंडाय नमः। ओम शूर्पकर्णाय नमः। ओम हेरंबाय नमः। ओम स्कंदपूर्वजाय नमः। ओम श्री सिद्धिविनायक स्वामिने नमः। Should we chant together or do you want to chant? What's your together? Okay, good. This one I don't know if you have this dhyana shloka, this Spatika Rajata Varnam. So I'll just chant it, and if you know it, fine. Otherwise, we'll have to do that some other time. Om Spatika Rajata Varnam Mauktakim Akshamalam Amrita Kalasha Vidyam Jnana Mudram Karagre Dadata Muraga Kaksham Chandrachudam Trinetram Vidrita Vipita Bhusham Dakshina Murtamide. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshina Murtaye Mahyam Shmedham Pragyam Prayacha Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshina Murtaye Mahyam Medham Pragyam Prayacha Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshina Murtaye Mahyam Medham Pragyam Prayacha Swaha. Om Omkara Simha Sarvendraya Namaha. Om Omkarodhyana Kokilaya Namaha. Om Omkara Nida Shukaraje Namaha. Om Omkararanya Kunjaraya Namaha. Om Nagaraj Sutajanaye Namaha. Om Nagaraj Nijalayaya Namaha. Om Navamanikyamadhyaya Namaha. Om Navachandrashikhamandaye Namaha. Om Nandita Shesha Maunindraya Namaha. Om Nandi Shadimadeshikaya Namaha. ॐ मोहानलसुधासाराय नमः। ॐ मोहाम्बुजसुधाकराय नमः। ॐ मोहान्धकारतरणये नमः। ॐ मोहोत्पलनभोमनये नमः। ॐ भक्तज्ञानाब्धिशीतांशवे नमः। ॐ भक्तगणातनाय नमः। ॐ भक्ताम्बोजसहस्रांशवे नमः। ॐ भक्तकेकरणाय नमः। ॐ भक्तकैरवराक्केन्दवे नमः। ॐ भक्तकोकदिवाकराय नमः। ॐ गजाननादिसम्पूज्याय नमः। ॐ गजचर्मोज्ज्वलाकृतये नमः। ॐ गङ्गाधवलदिव्याङ्गाय नमः। ॐ गङ्गापङ्किलसज्जटाय नमः। ॐ गगनाक्ताय नमः। ॐ गगनामुक्तमूर्धजाय नमः। ॐ वदनाब्धजिताब्जश्रिये नमः। ॐ वदनेन्दुस्फुरद्दिशाय नमः। ॐ वरदानैकनिपुणाय नमः। ॐ वनवीरोज्ज्वलत्कराय नमः। ॐ वनवाससमुल्लासाय नमः। ॐ वनवीरैकलोलुपाय नमः। ॐ तेजभुञ्जगणाकाराय नमः। ॐ तेजसामपि भासकाय नमः। ॐ तेजप्रदाय नमः। ॐ तेजोमयनिजाय नमः। ॐ दमितानङ्गसङ्ग्रामाय नमः। ॐ दयार्ससुधासिन्धवे नमः। ॐ दरिद्रधनुषे वदये नमः। ॐ क्षीरेन्दुस्फटिकाकाराय नमः। ॐ क्षीरेन्दुमुकुटोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ॐ क्षीरोपहाररसिकाय नमः। ॐ क्षिप्रैश्वर्यफलप्रदाय नमः। ॐ नानाभरणमुग्धाङ्गाय नमः। ॐ नारीसम्मोहनाकृतये नमः। ॐ नादब्रह्मरसास्वादिने नमः। ॐ नागभूषणभूषिताय नमः। ॐ मूर्तिनिन्दितकन्दर्पाय नमः। ॐ मूर्तामूर्तजगद्वपुषे नमः। ॐ मूलाज्ञानतमोभानवे नमः। ॐ मूर्तिमत्कल्पपादपाय नमः। ॐ तरुणादित्यसङ्काशाय नमः। ॐ तन्त्रीवादनतत्पराय नमः। ॐ तरुमूलैकनिलयाय नमः। ॐ तप्तजाम्बूनदप्रभाय नमः। तप्तपुस्तोलसत्पाणये नमः। ॐ तपनोडुपलोचनाय नमः। ॐ यमसंयुमसकीर्तये नमः। ॐ यमसंयुमसंयुताय नमः। ॐ यतिरूपधराय मौनिने नमः। ॐ यतीन्द्रोपासविग्रहाय नमः। ॐ मन्दारहाररुचिराय नमः। ॐ मदनायुतसुन्दराय नमः। ॐ मन्दस्मितलसत्वक्त्राय नमः। ॐ मधुराधरपल्लवाय नमः। ॐ मञ्जीरमञ्जुवाब्जाय नमः। ॐ मणिपट्टोलसत्कटये नमः। ॐ हस्ताङ्कुरितचिन्मुद्राय नमः। ॐ हठयोगपरोत्तमाय नमः। ॐ हंसजप्याक्षमालाढ्याय नमः। ॐ हंसेद्वाराद्यपादुकाय नमः। ॐ मेरुशृङ्गतटोल्लासाय नमः। ॐ मेघश्याममनोहराय नमः। ॐ मेधाङ्कुरालवालाग्र्याय नमः। ॐ मेधापक्वफलद्रुमाय नमः। ॐ धार्मिकान्तर्गुहावासाय नमः। ॐ धर्ममार्गप्रवर्तकाय नमः। ॐ धामत्रयनिजारामाय नमः। ॐ धर्मोत्तममनोरथाय नमः। ॐ प्रबोधोद्गारदीपश्रिये नमः। ॐ प्रकाशितजगत्र्याय नमः। ॐ प्रज्ञाचन्द्रशिलाचन्द्राय नमः। ॐ प्रज्ञामणिवराकराय नमः। ॐ ज्ञानान्तरभासात्मने नमः। ॐ ज्ञातृज्ञात ॐ ज्ञानज्ञाद्वैतदिव्यांगाय नमः। ॐ ज्ञातृज्ञातिकुलागताय नमः। ॐ प्रपन्नपारिजाताग्र्याय नमः। ॐ प्रणतार्थ्यप्तिवाडवाय नमः। ॐ भूतानां प्रमाणभूताय नमः। ॐ प्रपञ्चहितकारकाय नमः। ॐ यत्तत्त्वमसि संवेद्याय नमः। ॐ यक्षगेयात्मवैभवाय नमः। ॐ यज्ञादिदेवतामूर्तये नमः। ॐ यजमानवपुर्धराय नमः। ॐ छत्राधिपतिविश्वेश्वाय नमः। ॐ छत्रसामरसेविताय नमः। ॐ छन्दशास्त्रादिनिपुणाय नमः। ॐ छलजात्यादिदूरगाय नमः। ॐ स्वाभाविकसुखैकात्मने नमः। ॐ स्वानुभूतिरसोदये नमः। ॐ स्वाराज्यसम्पदध्यक्षाय नमः। ॐ स्वात्माराममहामतये नमः। ॐ हाटकाभजटाजूटाय नमः। ॐ हासोदस्तारिमण्डलाय नमः। ॐ हालाहलोज्ज्वलगलाय नमः। ॐ हार्दग्रन्थिविमोचकाय नमः। ॐ श्रीमेधादक्षिणामूर्तिस्वामिने नमः। ॐ श्री दयानंद सद्गुरवे नमः। ॐ श्री महेशानंद सद्गुरवे नमः। Let us see. So we will do verse number 4. Om Omkararanya Kunjaraya Namaha. So just the Sanskritam from Swami Tattvavidanandaji's commentary first. Omkara eva aranyam akshara matrakayaha omkarantargatatvat tasmin kunjaraha gajaha tasmai namaha aranye nivasatam nikhilajantunam madhye गजेन्द्रस्य विभूतिः वाचाम अगोचर एव तथा एव ओंकाररूढे अंतःकरणे भगवतः ज्ञानरूपस्य दक्षिणामूर्तेः स्वरूपः स्वजगत्कारणं ब्रह्म आत्मतया अवसीयते ज्ञानिभिः. So, Omkara Aranya Kunjaraya Namaha. So the first thing is Omkara eva aranyam. So the simile here is that the whole world, the whole Jagat, the entire cosmos is in the form of a forest with lots of different things in it. Lot of laws of the forest, lot of jantus, lot of people's animals there, even some people and so on. But generally, aranya means animals only. So in there, akshara matrakayaha Omkara antargatatvat. So there means that the Omkara, as we have seen before, is in fact the name specifically given to Ishvara or the Atma. It's the same thing. Atma and Ishvara is the same thing, really. But here, not the Jivatma, but Jivatma means that not the one which is conveyed through the form of a Jiva. So very much like space is the same, whether it's a room space or a car space or something. So not from the standpoint of the car space, but in terms of the total space. So the total space is called Paramatma. So the entire Jagat in the form of Ishvara, the Atma, Paramatma, is encompassed in the name Om. As we have seen in our study from the Mandukyaupanishad. So the Omkara represents the entire forest. It is not just a Ekadesha, it is not just specific to one place. In fact, it represents the entire set of experiences. And all the experiences have some kind of a name and a form. And so if it is nameless, then it will become named once it is understood. So all forms and all names, which means all Vani, the space of the face that represents the sounds made. In fact, it's interesting, we'll study it some other time. All the alphabet is very specifically designed by Ishvara, and how the makeup of the human voice, and any voice for that matter, but certainly the human voice, with with the throat, with the palate, with the lips, with the dental, and so on, everything is very specifically associated with creating a sound that represents the entire subset of sounds in the whole world. And the subset of the sound is represented by Omkara. So therefore, so if you just look at it, Omkara eva aranyam means that Omkara indeed is the forest, since the entire alphabet resolves into Om, A, U and Ma, as we have studied. And in there, salutations to the Lord, who is the elephant in the forest. So again, the simile of the various animals are being given in this. So the Ishvara, which is the creator, who created the whole thing, is the elephant in the forest. So here, one thing that we should think about is something that we need to see, and it was really, I was reading Swami Maheshananji's commentary on some book, I forget where it was, where he brought this out very beautifully. And the first time I really completely understood it. So what he said was, just look at this. So when you say that the elephant in the forest means that you are pinpointing some animals that have great characteristics. So for example, cuckoo, the quail, and the parrot that we saw, and here the elephant. So two things are involved here. One is the entire forest, and the other one is a specific form of an animal living in the forest. Okay, this is this concept. And Swami Maheshananji pointed out that, look, if you look at the human being has a face. And it also has the rest of the body. The arms, the back, the chest, and so on. It is all the human being. So when you say me, you don't just mean the face, you mean the entire body. Now, here's the interesting thing. This is what really, once I got the insight on this became very clear to me. And this is very useful here in this context. Swami Meshanji says, look, when you have to identify someone, you cannot identify it with the arms and the back and the chest. You have to identify with the face. Because the rest of the body is you, but other than the doctor who is taking stethoscope in the back and so on, the back is not really, doesn't represent you. If you have to say that I saw that person was sitting in the class, you only see the face. So that means that even though Ishvara is present everywhere, there are in fact specific places where he can be identified. In fact, if you look at the chapter on Vibhuti in the Bhagavad Gita, this used to, I remember I had a question and I wasn't able to get an answer to this. Maybe I never asked anyone. But inside me I had a doubt. Then how come the Lord says that I am the Ganga of all the rivers? That means he is not the other rivers? That used to bother me until this became clear to me. That really speaking, all rivers are Ishvara alone. But Ganga has a special, Ganga is like the face of the rivers. Beautiful concept. Again, same thing is given in here also. He says that Omkara eva aranyam means that Omkara represents everything. But out of that, the Gaja is the Lord of the forest. So there are a few animals that are absolutely phenomenal in the forest. One of them is the lion, and another one is the elephant. So powerful, and the biggest of them all. And and amongst all the animals, Aranye nivasatam nikila jantunam madhye gajendrasya vibhuti vacham agochara eva. Among all the animals living in the forest, the glory of the elephant is beyond words. Such is the glory of the Lord, which is Omkara. Tatha eva Omkara arudhe antahkarane Bhagavatah jnana rupasya dakshina murti swarupa sarva jagat karanam brahma atmataya avasiyate jnanibhi. So such is the glory of the Lord, which is Omkara. Brahman, the cause of the entire universe, is also the knowledge absolute as Dakshinamurti. Meditating upon Omkara, the sage realizes that Brahma as Atma. So he has gone into lots of different explanations of that, but on specifically what I would say here is that just like the elephant is one of the most important animals, if not the most important animal in the entire Aranya, similarly, when you say me, I, the Atma, I, that thought I is the most beautiful amongst all of your manifestations. You have many manifestations. You have the arms, you have the face, you have the speech, you have your thoughts, your love,
all of those. This is what comprises the human being. But the Atma in that whole Aranya is the most beautiful for lots of reasons. And this is what we are studying. Why is the Atma the most beautiful? Because it is not time-bound as one of the many aspects of it. So this is the simile that is given here, and I'll just stop at this just one today. Om Omkararanya Kunjaraya Namaha. So Kunjara means Gajaha, means an elephant. That may I salute the most important face of Ishvara, even though Ishvara is everywhere. But the whole body is not easily visible, is not identifiable. But the face of the body is where you can identify. And this also means that why should one go to pilgrimages, temples? Why can't you just pray for the Lord here? Yes, you can. If you have really evolved to a point where you can see the presence of Ishvara everywhere, you don't have to go to a temple. But still, as our experience shows, the moment you enter a temple, your thoughts change and you really become more aware of the presence of something very beautiful. And so really, just like exactly the same thing as Swami Meshananji says, even though the Ishvara is present everywhere, but in specific places, it can be recognized much more easily. That really solved a lot of my doubts about the presence of Ishvara everywhere and so on. But anyway, so this one talks about that. So let's go on. Turn the TV on. I think that the TV is expected to be on by this. So, there.
No, I don't think so, because when I was doing that, I got distracted.
Oh.
I didn't turn it on.
Oh. Yeah, because it couldn't find it.
Yeah.
Okay. Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashikritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Gukharastvandakaro Vai Rukarastvanivartakaha Andakara Nirodhitvat Guru Vidya Vidhiyate Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahavi Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us chant the Karika number 6, 7, 8 and 9. Four verses we'll chant together, or you can just chant after me. So starting with Karika number 6. Adavante cha yannasti Vartamanepi tattatha Vitathaihi sadrishaha santaha Abitatha iva lakshitaha Saprayojanata tesham Swapne vipratipadyate Tasmad adyantavatvena Mithyaiva khalu te smritaha Apurvam sthani dharmo hi Yatha swarga nivasinam Tanayam prekshate gatva Tathaiveha sushikshitaha Swapna pravattavapi tvantataha Swapna pravatapi tvantaha Cetasa kalpitam tvasat Cetasa kalpitam tvasat Bahircheto grihitam sat Bahircheto grihitam sat Drishtam vaithatyam etayoho I tell you, this is just beautiful. The way the explanation of these things are is so revealing. I just enjoy reading and teaching and thinking, and so beautiful. It's just amazing. So just some general comments before we get into the specific meaning of these 3 or 4 verses. It'll probably take more time than today. I wish we had more time, but anyway. So I think one of the most important things that all the students of Vedanta should aspire for, should really look into it, make that into a goal and an adarsha. This is what I have to do. Is really summarized in these verses, which is the nature of things that begin and end. We should elevate our thinking to be able to analyze, to meditate on it, to think about it, to understand it, to grasp it. And that is the nature of things that begin and an end. This is we can go on for I wish I had more time. In fact, we should do a kind of like a weekend seminar, because I find it constraining to just to be able to talk for like half hour to an hour and then time is gone. So we have to think about that. But this is a very important thing. And so just as a quick illustration of that things that happen quickly really don't, unless there is something, a big accident or something like this, a life-threatening accident like this plane falling down or whatever. But in most cases, those are special cases. But in most cases, things happen quickly and they just go away. And you are still there. You're still there. It was just like some kind of a flash of experience. And really, if you look at your experiences in life, most of them are like that. They sometimes serve a purpose, like for example, when you eat a food, when you're hungry, and the hunger came up, and then you look for the appropriate food, and then you ate it, and now for a while the hunger is abated. So it came up and then it went back. So it's useful. Many other cases, things happen. You see scenes, you see television, and so on and so forth. They all begin, and then they end. But you are still there. They're gone. They're gone. So the real question is, how does it really affect you? How does it change you? Well, when you really look upon this, the most important thing is that nothing affects you. In fact, even things like the stages of life, when you're a child, and the stage of the child's life is gone, you're still there. Then you became a teenager. For about 5 or 6 years, you were this peculiar age called the teenage. Began, gone. You're still there. And so this is a very important thing that we have to see. And in this example, the dream has a very special place. Very special place. And this we are going to continue to analyze this. Because the dream has an extremely interesting phenomena. As we will develop it more. And the phenomena is that it appears like a real thing. And then it disappears. And you're still the same as you are before. And in fact, the lesson that we have to see is that my life as I'm leading has a beginning and an end. And I still remain the same. It's a very long dream is really what it is. Honestly. So the shape of the curve should not really bother me. Which is the one? Is it, no.
It should be on the set.
Microsoft apps. OneDrive. Yeah. No, not OneDrive, sorry. OneNote, sorry. Ha! How do I go back? OneNote. Sorry, OneNote. I think this is this class. I don't even remember. Is it this class? We talked about the duality and non-duality? Okay, then I have to go to the other one. Sorry about that. Yeah, got it. Okay. Forgive me. So really speaking, if you look at the dream, look at all these things. The curve of the dream is like this.
Normal distribution.
Yeah. So it just happens for about half hour, an hour of the whole thing. And the curve of the waking is like this. And this confuses us. The shape of the curve confuses us. And what the Shastra says is, please see through your vision, through your eyes, that anything that ends, that begins and ends, just has some kind of an experience for you. But you have to focus on you, the one who stays the same despite the changes. So like in the case of the dream, you don't bother about the dream. It's gone, whatever it was. You don't cry about it and so on, because you go on with your life. And the dream is just an example shown specifically by Ishvara. It's a very important creation, so that you use as an important example to elevate your thinking to higher levels. And the higher level is, how is this any different from the dream? Just because it is there for a longer time. Okay, so there are some differences. One is a short time, one is a long time. But both end the same way. Should you not be thinking about who you are when this long thing ends? Just like you think about when the dream ends? Should you not be thinking about that? Why are you not thinking about it? The Shastra says. Because for a dream, you don't bother about it, even though you had the same experience. And if you say it's not the same experience, this is what the whole discussion is, to prove that it is really the same experience. So leave aside that. It's a very good representation, designed specifically by Ishvara. So to allow you to think about why to use the dream as a fulcrum to make further progress. And the main thing is, and as Swami Maheshananji also says, we've had so many lives. We've got so many wives, husbands, children, so many of them. Where are they now? Gone. How does it affect you? In the same way, this life is not real. Why is it not real? Because it starts and ends. The more important thing is, what is the person who stays after even when it began and ended? Then one says, no, I am very busy with my family. If you give me this kind of thinking, then my responsibilities of families will be disturbed, my society and so on and so forth. Oh, this doesn't sound. Okay, fine. All right, you keep on dreaming. We're not saying that anything needs to be disturbed. You need to think about who you are outside of this phenomena called beginning and an ending. This is what it is being said. If you go back to verse number 6, it says, Adau ante cha yat nasti vartamane api tat tatha. He says that, please, this is the most important rule. And the rule is, anything that was not there at one time and will not be there again. Adau antecha yat nasti vartamane pi tat tatha. Even when it is there, it is as good as not being there. And so really speaking, this is what our goal should be in life. It to see the similarity of my life's experiences like a dream. Like a dream meaning, yes, the shapes are different, but it's going to end. And you will still be the same person. And all of the families and societies and experiences and degrees and money and fame and so on be gone. You'll still be the same person. Should you not be more concerned about yourself or about just like a movie? It's like a movie. This is what the Karika is saying. So this should be really kept in mind, honestly. That should be kept in your mind. That what I am seeing is something that because it is designed by my karma and Ishvara together, it's not going to disappear as quickly as a dream. But doesn't matter. Whatever the shape is, it's going to disappear. You'll be separated from it. There's absolutely no connection after that. You've had millions of lives like this before. Every life you were saying, no, you cannot disturb me, I'm very busy with my family. All this is just some Shastra saying, some Mahatmas. It doesn't apply to me. We have said this many times before, and now you're gone. Those lives are gone. You have nothing to do with them. Same thing is going to happen again. At least should you not try to understand this? You may not initially, but it behooves us for us to really look at this. So this is I just wanted to give you a kind of like an overall commentary to this. So this ādavante ca yatnasti vartamanati tattatha is the very important. Same thing, the Gita in the second chapter, Sri Krishna says the same thing. So, and then the second line he says, Vitathaihi sadrisha santaha avitatha iva lakshitaha. And so the second line is basically saying that, you see, it looks real to you. It looks very real. But like a dream, it isn't. Think about it. So this is what verse number 6 was saying. And now the text goes into certain challenges to this, as we have seen. So still revising. So in the revision that we did in the last few classes was that, and so in this case of the Purva Paksha, the people that have some objections to this and so on and so forth, two of them are taken up. Swami Maheshananji pointed this out. One is called Vaisheshikaha, and the other ones are Bauddha. So both of them don't believe in this. They don't want to go into this way of living. So out of this, Vaisheshikas should be understood. Vaisheshikas are what are called the modern scientists. And really, if you study the history of Vaisheshikas, are identical to particle hunting. What is the smallest particle? Now we have more technology, so you're trying to explode and see how things are, but it's identical. Identical. Same thing. Paramanu, how the various basic particles combine with each other, and how things are made, what is the evolution of the human. All this is done by Vaisheshikas. So many of the Vaisheshikas and also the Buddhists, they also follow some of that, because they don't think about the Atma. There's no such thing as the Atma. Everything is the mind and the play of mind and so on. And so the mind is made up of particles. So it's a combination of different kind of particles and so on and so forth. So they now give various objections. See, the defining definition is this. Listen, all set aside, anything that begins and ends is false. Even though it may have some kind of some experience, doesn't make any difference. Like a movie. Movie is an experience. Dream is an experience, but it began and ended. Think about that as the basic one. And so the Vaisheshikas and Buddha says, no, that's not the way to look at things. In fact, the dream and the waking experiences are fundamentally different. They are fundamentally different. So we will look into that, exactly how are they fundamentally different. And so if you recall that up to verse number 5, verse number 5 was Swapna Jagrita Sthane hi ekam ahuhu manishina bhedanam hi samatvena prasiddhena eva hetuna. So there also about 2 classes ago, if you recall, we had done this, where the people who were objecting to this, saying they are different. They are different because the dream is a completely different set of things, and the Jagrat is a completely different set of things. You cannot equate them. You cannot use one as an example for the other. This argument is going to be revived today. We will see that in a few minutes. It will be revived again. Why they are different and what is the implication of them being different, that we'll look at in a few minutes. But in the meantime, the objectionist says, I have a better idea. The better idea is that if it is useful to you, it is real. If it is not useful to you, it is not real. This is what was done in verse number 7. Saprayojanata tesham swapne vipratipadyate. So we saw this. This is still a revision from the last class. So there the contention was that if you are thirsty and you open the tap water and you drink it and your thirst is quenched, that water is real. But if you imagine the water in a desert because of the changes in the temperature and so on, that doesn't quench your thirst, so that is unreal. So the defining characteristic is usefulness to you. Okay, then he rests. He says, see, I have a better argument. This thing about swapna and so on and so forth, leave that aside. To this we say some more things. We say, no, that is not a defining thing, because usefulness is a nebulous concept. What is useful and what is not useful is conditional. You took an example of the water, this is a good example, but that doesn't apply everywhere. And to that we say, going back to the comparison between the swapna and jagrat, to dream and the waking, whatever is useful in the jagrat avastha is not useful in the dream. And whatever is maybe useful in the dream is not useful in the waking state. So it is very conditional. But if you say, well, I don't know about that because the dream is really not that useful to me here, but my days that repeat themselves in the Jagrat, I have some confidence that they'll give me some reality. We say not even that. As we saw, several examples can be given, but because of the rapidity of this course of thinking, we think about a sun. We think that the sun is very real because, if you think that the sun is very real because he's very useful to you for your social security, no. As soon as he gets married, he starts to go away from you. And pretty soon, if he has got 5 or 6 children like in India, he says, I cannot take care of you, Dad, because I'm very busy with the children. And the neighborly guy, he helps you more than your own son. He becomes your own son. If you know he's very nice to you and so on. So the usefulness is not a criteria. Not a criteria. So for you to say that, that doesn't really hold any water for me at all. And so lots of examples were given where you cannot say, let's continue with our analysis of what is real, what is unreal. Usefulness is not real. So that's why he says, just to revise this part, if you look at verse number 7, saprayojanata teshan. So it's very interesting in these verses, both the Purva Paksha, both the objection as well as the Siddhanta are included. As we will see this in a more important verse in number 8, which will be the main topic today. But just look at number 7. So he says, saprayojanata tesham. This is the Purva Paksha. Means if you say that the usefulness is the criteria, we say no. Why? Swapne vipratipadyate. Because it is violated in the dream. See, we are looking at the foolproof definition of reality. We are looking at, if things happen to me and they don't seem to affect me, who is it that I am? That is the reality we are looking at. And we are giving examples to say that anything that begins and ends should not affect you and does not affect you most of the cases. If it affects you through some memories and so on, forget about it. That you are just unnecessarily carrying them. The fact of the matter is that at the new point you are the same person and nothing really affects you. This is the definition we are looking at. So anything that can be violated is not the reality. So therefore, we look at this example. He says that if you think that usefulness is a valid reason, it is not, because the usefulness of things in the waking state is violated in the dream state. And in the next verse we will see how similar, much more similar than you think, the Swapna and Jagrat are. They are so similar. Other than this time period, they are exactly the same. So we will see that in a minute. So if they are the same, and one only applies to, the usefulness only applies to one part of it, but not to the other part, that cannot be real. And it isn't. So do not waste your time going in that direction. And we are not trying to convert anybody. This is all meant for Vedantin's own thinking. That if you start thinking, yes, these Vaisheshikas and Bauddhas have a good point, so let me become a Buddhist. Please, don't. Because we have answers to all of them. These are not real. Anyway, this is number 7. Then, one more thing on the 7, which is really a very important thing, is that do not think about this classical dream that you have when you are lying down with the lights out and you are sleeping prone on a bed and you dream. That's not the dream we are talking about. The dream means something that you are just imagining in your brain, in your mind. And with that criteria, most of the Jagrat Avastha is also a dream. So let's be very purist about it. It's not as though that you are, for 10 hours or 12 hours you are awake and only for 15-20 minutes you are dreaming, this REM sleep. So this is interesting. This one of my students, she gave me this watch, Fitbit watch. It's just amazing how much it tells you. It's $150. Really, it's just amazing. The best thing that I got, really wonderful. So it tells you even your sleep for the last night. How much you slept and how much is your REM sleep. So it's an app in the my phone, and in the morning you can tell. And I actually looked at it this morning. So my REM sleep was 11% of my whole night. So just for an hour or less than that, half hour or something like this. So what the Shastra is saying is, don't look upon the dream as just the half hour. In fact, it is there for most of the day. How? Anytime you think about something other than how things are, it is a dream. It's a kind of like a dream. So the example we took was that there was a boy sitting there and there are two people looking at the boy. One is the father and the other one is a dog. And both are not making any mistake about the form of the boy. The dog also thinks there is a human being sitting there. The father also thinks there is a human being sitting there. Both are identical. This is the Ishvara Srishti. Then comes Jiva Srishti. Jiva Srishti is that you don't look upon him as any boy, you look upon him as your son. The dog looks upon it as any other thing. It's all in your mind. How you look upon things. How you think about somebody being useful, not useful, friendly, unfriendly, good looking, not good looking, better than me, worse than me, situations. It is all nothing but your own mental makeup, which is like a dream. This is Jiva Srishti. And so, as we begin to understand how this is not really real, just like you feel that the dream is also not real, you should also begin to analyze that this whole experience is also nothing like a dream, nothing but like a dream. And the arguments are being given. You should depend on it. That really, so this is what is called, samskara janyata. So, this is what is called samskara janyata. So samskara janyata is swapna. So what is samskara janyata? Samskara janyata means one which is born out of your previous thought. It is based on your samskara of your thinking. So we took the example where baby is born in a Brahmin family, and as soon as the baby is able to listen to words, he is told by the parents, "Hey, you are a Brahmin." This is samskara janyata. So first of all, he heard this word Brahmin, he has no idea what that means. Pretty soon, the idea that you are a very special person, you are the best amongst all the castes in India, you are a Brahmin, is drilled into him. And so samskara is given to him. Brahmin, Brahmin, I'm a Brahmin, I'm a Brahmin, I'm a Brahmin. Pretty soon he looks upon himself not as a human being but as a Brahmin. It's called samskara janyata. Similarly, you look upon the boy as you're my son, you're my son. And my son doesn't mean that that my wife and I gave birth to you. That is of course there. But the fact is that you have some expectations. How you look upon that person. The same thing is true for other relationships also. This is what is called samskara janyata. Means that the idea of a person is based out of your thinking. This is the true definition of swapna. Here Swami Maheshanji gives a very interesting example. He says, look at this. He says that, so this example of the definition of samskara janyata is given with respect to the usefulness of things, okay, of saprayojanata. So he gives a beautiful example. He says, suppose you are hungry. And you really want some food, and pretty soon this is what happens in our families and so on. The wife says, no, you can have another roti. So a person says, no, you know what, I have had enough. No, I think that you'll have another one. I see this, the mothers also doing to the same children all the time. You can have another one. So a person says, no, I'm okay. No, I think it will be good if you have another one. So the person forces himself. After that he says, no more. Do not ask me for any more food. I'm done with. Now comes dessert. The fellow should not have anything more, because he says, you have forced me enough, I am full, over full. Then some nice dessert, and all depends upon where you are and so on and so forth, ice cream or something is now given. And then, so Swami Maheshananji says that up to the end of the food, you had what is called tripti. Tripti means complete satisfaction, is called tripti. Absolutely, I cannot have any more. When the dessert is given, the tripti becomes atripti. Your sense of satisfaction is gone. Why? Samskara janyata. What do you mean by that? Because the previous idea of the taste of the ice cream is so strong, it overcomes saprayojanata. That it is, I should not have it, is thrown aside. That's why I give the example that the mother forces an extra roti. The person should have not had even before, but she says, no, these are very nice, I just made them fresh, you can have another puri. This is what happens when puri aloo. Everybody should finish after 2 puris, but no. It just happens that 3 or 4 puris are eaten because it's a very special thing. I don't make it every day, you should have it now. So he says, okay, I can't have it anymore. And so then after that you should be done. You're not done. Why? Because if there is sanskar, this is the true definition of swapna. That means that swapna can overcome saprayojanata. So this is the explanation of the verse number 7. He says, if you think that usefulness is the criteria, I say no, because swapne vipratipadyate. It is violated in the dream. And don't think of the dream at night time. Means that any time you have a fancy of something which is a dream. Beautiful. Anyway, so that was number 7. Now we start on a new topic. And this is given in verse number 8. And the new topic is the old topic now brought in with more force. The old topic was that do not give the example of swapna in the Jagrat. Why not? Because they are fundamentally different. They're fundamentally different. So what do you mean by they're fundamentally different? So now this is going to be discussed in great depth. And we may not finish it today, but this is really just amazing. This is defined by the word apurvam. Apurvam sthani dharmo hi yatha swarga nivasinam tan ayam prekshate gatva yatha eva iha susikshitaha. Here, the key word to be discussed is called apurvam. So apurvam means yasya, just the definition of Sanskritam, yasya purvam na asti, that did not exist before, equals to the English definition of called unique. Apurvam, really, I think the word unique is a good definition of apurva. Unique means never seen before. It has its own form. You cannot say this was there before. Okay? So now look at this definition. So the Purva Pakshi says, listen, do not give me the examples of dream and so on and so forth, because they're all unique, have nothing to do with each other. Like, for instance, in the dream, you see an elephant with 4 tusks. And you also see your own hand having 8 fingers. Now, if that's the case, you cannot say this is samskarajanyam. Why not? Because samskarajanyam means that you must have seen something before, like in the case of ice cream. If your mother says, beta, have some ice cream, and you have never heard of the word ice cream before, you'll say, no, I'm full, I don't want anything. But if you've had a taste of ice cream before, you say, oh, ice cream, yeah, that I can have. This is called samskarajanyam. Now, if in the dream you see an elephant with 4 tusks, it is not samskarajanyam, because you've never seen it before. And there is no such thing as an elephant with 4 tusks. Not possible. It only has 2 tusks. Or you see a Devi with 4 hands. Or you see Sahasraksha, you see Indra with 1,000 eyes. That can be done in Swarga. You don't see that anywhere. These are all unique. So do not tell me about the Swapna and the Jagrat Avastha being the same. They are not the same. To which Sri Gaudapada says, no. That's not true. Why not? Sthani dharma. Experiences are sthani dharma, not sthana dharma. So, sthana means oh, there's something that I think I pressed this here. Sthana means a place. So the Purva Paksha says that the dream and the Jagrat Avastha are sthanas. They are stages and they have their own properties. They are not each other. So do not keep on giving me examples of the dream and being the same. This is called sthana dharma. Sthana dharma means that any of the changes that you see, like for example, when you see an elephant with 4 tusks, that is unique to, you can do anything in the dream. It has nothing to do with the waking state. Gaudapada says no. It is sthani, means the one who is in the place, the person in the place. So the dharma does not belong to sthana, it belongs to sthani. This we have to understand. This is really an important element that we have to see. Another thing that we should see, we saw this samskara janyata equals swapna. You can also have a very similar definition very important thing to see this. Samskara anything which is generated by samskara is not real. And this will, I'll add my thoughts to that in some way, that Jiva Srishti is also mithya. This is samskara janya. Yeah, clearly I'm going to run out of time. A lot to talk about here. So, just let me expand on this for a minute, and then we'll complete the other parts later. So, the Jiva Srishti means the creation that we create for ourselves, which is unreal. Unreal in the sense that it has a beginning and an end. It is not something which is, because the only definition of reality, as we've seen, is something that does not change. And so we lead our lives in kind of like a dreamlike situation. And again, the same example given before, that you see a rope, but you don't see it correctly, and so you impute some other kind of a thing, like a snake, or maybe it's a garland, or a water hose, or something like this. But you don't see the reality as it is. It is all your own imagination. Okay, and it all comes from the fact that you impart your own reality to it. And you have a certain relationship to it that is beyond what it really means. A very interesting example, and I'll end with this, and we will take up the rest of it. There's a lot more to be talked about it, so I will leave it for next time. But one interesting example given is that your identification with something as yours creates a lot of your samskaras. This is mine. This is related to me. It really changes your own behavior. Swami Maheswaranji gave this excellent example. I just loved it. He says, imagine this. You're living in a house, and this is an Indian example. And as you know, in India, so we have people that employ certain domestic help. They also live close by because they cannot come from far away. So you have some rooms for them, as all that. So you're living in a house in India, and your neighbor has a domestic help. So one day, this domestic help comes to you with tears in his eyes. He says, "Sir, my 5-year-old daughter has gotten very sick, and they suspect that she has some serious problem, and there is a medicine available for 100 rupees. Can you please help me?" So you and your wife look at each other, and he says, if we give them some money, that is never going to be returned. So you tell the guy, "Okay, I cannot give you 100 rupees, but I'll give you 25 rupees. And you find out from the other neighbors the rest of it, okay? I'm sympathetic to your daughter's illness, but this is all I can do." Why? Because you do not think of that daughter, of this girl, as being yours. She just belongs to a neighbor, and it's good, it's fine. As time would have it, you had a 10-year-old son, and the 5-year-old girl, she survives, and your 10-year-old son, they become friendly. Then they grow up. Your son is 27 and the daughter is 22. They fall in love. And they get married. And this girl becomes your daughter-in-law. One day, she has a headache. Minor headache. And then you say, "Beta, what's been you being under so much stress? Don't cook for us anymore. Just take it easy." Then she has another headache. So then he says, now I think, why is she having? You go to a specialist for 1,000 rupees. It's not even warranted, but you spend 1,000 rupees. Why? She is your daughter. Same person. Similarly, if there's another person that comes by and he says, "I have a headache," he says, "Why should I worry about you? You take care of your headache." But if it is your own son or a daughter-in-law, it's completely different. Samskara janyatvam. You think about things on your own. In fact, this example, this was appearing in another book that I was studying, comes up with a very remarkable conclusion. Conclusion is, the body, mind, and indriyas that you and I have no connection to you. But because you think they are yours, you become enamored by it. Have absolutely no difference whatsoever. You should be just as disconnected from your body as you are from other bodies. Bodies have their own dharma. They will be sick, you'll get headaches, and they will get old and die. And you don't bother about somebody else's body. But if it comes to be your body, things are different. You are willing to spend 1,000 rupees to take him to a specialist. Beautiful example. So really speaking, all of this is nothing but samskara janyatvam, mithya. This is your own thinking. Your own thinking that makes it. There's no reality to it whatsoever. But this topic needs to be sketched out more. There's more arguments and counter-arguments from the Vaisheshikas and Buddhists that we need to study a little bit more. And perhaps one of the most important thing that I would, the explanation of the Karika points out, which was remarkable, I think, we will do next time, which is to look at the similarity between Swapna and Jagra. So the whole idea here is, do not look upon them as completely separate, that I have nothing to do with. This is exactly what happens. Supposing you go to talk to and says, what did your teacher talk about today? You say that the difference was between, the similarity between Jagrat Avastha and Swapna Avastha. So you know what the person will say? Why are you wasting your time? That's got to do with it? Do something useful. Don't go and study. And so what difference does it make? The Swapna is gone, everybody dreams, it has no effect on it. This is the argument. We say no. Here is the kernel of the truth that I have to pin on. I have to really use that as a fulcrum. And in the beginning it doesn't. So that word that we used a few weeks ago called manishinaha comes useful. A non-manishi will say, why are you bothering? What's the big deal? A manishinaha says, no, wait a second. There's something funny going on here. And this funny going on here will be sketched out next week, next time when we meet. I think isn't it? Are we meeting next week or no?
Yeah.
Huh?
We have a
Yeah,
class
we
next
do.
week, but not the week after.
The week after is.
So next week we have a class. Next week we will discuss this. This is really a very interesting one, where the Swapna is more Jagrat-like than you think. Other than just that spike, there is no other difference whatsoever. Both have sanskara janyatvam there also. Both have non-sanskara janyatvam there also. And the more you look at it, more you will find, wow, these two really are very similar. And therefore, so the question is, so what if they are similar? And so therefore, just like I am unaffected by the dream, I need to think I need to be unaffected by the Jagrata. That is the conclusion that this is leading to. Anyway, we'll look into that. Om Swasti Prajabhyav Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Go Brahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Varjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Shobharahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukhabhag Bhaved Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityo Ma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Any questions? Yeah.
So is the Purva Pakshi is basically disagreeing that the dream and the waking state are not similar? Is that the basic
Yeah, that's the basic thing. You cannot use that as an example. Yeah, they're just different experiences, have nothing to do with each other. So there's no lesson that you can draw from that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
In the dream, when it's mentioned that we see an elephant with 4 tusks, how is that sanskar janya based?
So that may not be samskarajanya. That may not be samskarajanya. It is actually, Swami Dayananji explained, I remember his words so clearly. What he said was that In a way it is samskarajanya, in the fact that you have seen elephants in the Jagrata Avastha. You have seen different tusks of different, and you combine them. You can combine them. So the mind has a crazy idea. He says, I think I just want to dream like that. So he says, no, there's no problem on doing that. Whereas the Vaisheshikas and the Buddhists said, no, it has to be purely two. So we said there is no such rule that you cannot see four tusks and so on and so forth. And in fact, the Shastra says, this is very interesting, Shastra says that it is possible that in a dream you have samskaras from previous janma. It doesn't happen because the law of the Jagrata Avastha is that unless it's a fluke, which is possible, you should not remember anything about your previous life. You have so many problems with your present life that if you remember now the previous life, this is why we say that, we've had so many families and so on and so forth, responsibilities, and we're gone, they're gone. It's a fresh dream. But in the dream, it is possible that there are some samskaras left over from the previous that are unprocessed. So even the dream itself is an unprocessed. Even in this day, even the Western scientists say that the dream is where you cannot, the Jagrata Avastha means there are some bad thoughts you cannot even think about. But in the dream, you are more relaxed, so the bad thoughts come and bother you. So similarly, the old lives can have some leftovers that can basically, generally not, most of the dreams that you have are with your own people and your own thinking and so on and so forth. But if there's some strange thinking that you're doing, it could be due to samskaras from the previous life. This is what they say.
You said that the classical dream is not a dream, sitting on a couch and sleep. But the daydreaming is the real dream then?
No. What all I was saying was that the classical dream is also a dream. I didn't say that. What I said was that do not say that the classical dream is the only dream.
Oh.
That also is a dream. And so is any kind of daydreaming during the Jagrata Avastha also. Yeah. So the only thing is anything which is samskara janyatvam is a dream, is a swapna, and therefore it is a mithya. And a better definition of mithya is adavantau chat, nasti. That is the one. Anything that begins and ends, by definition, in the Ishvara Srishti. See, the Ishvara Srishti means that something has to happen, otherwise you'll be sleep all the time. That's no fun. Some movie has to go on. But the nature of the movie is that anything that starts and ends, eventually it is just for fun, but has no reality whatsoever. So instead of looking at the definition of swapnavastha, the main reality one should look on is adavante, one which, does it have a beginning or not? The Atma does not have a beginning. So it is not mithya. Anything that has a beginning and an end is mithya. So that's the main focus that we should be thinking about. Yeah.
Some psychological illness like schizophrenia could be samskarajanya.
Could be, of course it is. Of course, any schizophrenia is a samskarajanya. So there we say that in the analysis of sat, so there are three kinds of sat, as you know. So one is pratibhasika sat, one is vyavaharika sat, and third one is paramarthika sat. So the schizophrenia is pratibhasika sat. Vyavaharika Sat means that there is a certain Vyavahara that has to go on, like a space. Space is Paramarthika Sat. But a suitcase space is Vyavaharika Sat. When you're going on a trip and you have to be very space conscious, there is a certain truth to it. Even though the space itself is unlimited, but for the usefulness of something, there needs to be some space. That is called Vyavaharika Sat. But if you keep on saying, I don't have enough space, which is not schizophrenia, but it is some kind of a thinking that my apartment is too small. Actually, it could be quite big, but you think, no, it is very small. That is just Pratibhasika Sat. So yeah, all that is Samskarajanya. Any Pratikabhasika Sat is Samskarajanya. Yeah. Okay, very good. See you next week.
Oh, before everybody goes, I have a couple of slots for Diksha schedule, so if you guys are interested in day Diksha.
I did. I've not replied to it. So when can we, what do you think? Should we meet separately, or can we do that as part of the class itself? But then you don't stay for the Gita class. If you stay for the Gita class, then it'll be easier because we can spend half hour after that. Huh? So let's do it next Saturday.
Guruji, do you have a few more sets of Bhagavad Gita that we are using for Paramarthanans?
I think so.
How many? I need 3 sets.
3-4 sets?
I'll let you know how many I need.
Okay. I think that what can be done is I may have some that are partially not there. I can complete it. I have a few complete sets.
Whatever you have complete set, let me know.
Okay.
I am Vivek Mohan.
Oh, you're okay.
And Swami Paramatmananji had sent me I didn't even know that you were having classes here.
Oh.
I heard about you from Nima and Surya.
Okay.
And so I had spent some time in Rishikesh a couple of times. Including with Swami Dayanandji a few years ago.
Okay.
But I'm so glad that I
I'm
found
so
out.
happy that you found us out.
Likewise,
We have a
likewise.
very active group.
I just realized that I missed out for so many years.
Teaching for 50 years.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think 3-4 years ago I researched you online. I couldn't find the website and stuff, so I just gave it up that time. But then Swami Paramatmananji aa rahe the, so he forwarded me the whole program. And that had your website. Arsh Vidya Center. जाके देखा मैंने तो कमाल हो गया.
Oh, so you went there recently or no?
I go to India almost every month and a half now. Shuttle back and forth. My parents are in Bombay. बुजुर्ग हो रहे हैं, so spending some time with them. So when I go there, I spend time in Nima and Surya. When I get a chance, I sneak off to Rishikesh now, once in a while.
Oh, so wonderful.
It is. And I've heard so much good about you from Nima and Surya.
Oh, so nice. So you live here?
Haan ji, in Pleasanton.
Pleasanton.
Haan ji. So in fact, so today was the first class I was sitting in the back, सुन रहा था, मजा आया बहुत सुन के. What is this? Who can I ask the structure of the class? What do you teach? Like various things in the same?
So it's gotten kind of like mixed up. So I actually teach 3 classes.
जी.
And in the beginning it was kind of like beginning, intermediate and advanced.
अच्छा.
This is still the most advanced.